With the NFL adjusting the kickoff rules to trigger more returns, it wasn't going to be long before someone found an exploit. The first evolution comes not from the returners, but those crafty kickers, adding a new style of kick to their arsenal. Leading the charge is Rams kicker Joshua Carty, who has shown that the knuckleball is the way forward. Last year, the league changed to new dynamic kickoff rules, and there was an immediate uptick in returns. Here's a quick rundown on how it works. The kicker will kick from their own 35-yard line. The starting line for the rest of the kicking team is the opponent's 40-yard line. They must remain at this line until the ball bounces or is touched by a returner. The return team may have 1 or 2 returners in the landing zone, that's from the 20 to the goal line, who are eligible to field the return and may move at any given time. The rest of the return team will be in the setup zone between the 30 and 35-yard line and must remain stationary until the ball bounces or is touched. Balls that are kicked out of the sideline or fall short of the landing zone will be spotted to the 40-yard line. Any ball that lands and would remain in the landing zone must be returned. Remember, the ball is always live off the kickoff. If a ball lands in the landing zone and rolls through the end zone or into the end zone and is down by a returner, the ball goes to the 20. Balls that are directly kicked into or through the end zone will now be marked at the 35, a change from the 30 last year to encourage more returns. This subtle change massively incentivizes teams to put the ball in the landing zone and chase that returner down. And that's shown true in the numbers. Kick returns have increased to 77.7%, up 45% from last season, and are at their highest rate since '09. From an aesthetic and football-loving perspective, this is a really good thing. No longer are kickoffs just another moment to check your Twitter, but a real part of the action. Kickoffs are one of the game's most exciting aspects, so bringing them back to be a real play while being safer is a win-win. But as quick as returners are with the ball, coaches and kickers have found a way to take advantage of the rules. To make the return as difficult as possible, most teams have chosen the tactic of kicking a looping ball as close to the goal line as possible. But the current rule set offers no rewards for height or hang time. And this is where the Rams, Joshua Carty, and the knuckleball come into play. A knuckleball is a ball intentionally struck or thrown to try to put as little spin on it as possible. Without spin, the ball creates asymmetric and unsteady flows of air around itself, causing it to wobble at a certain speed. If you apply the same physics to a football shape, it creates even more erratic motion. Here's a great example of the wobble motion Carty is able to generate on the football. Tank Bigsby, the returner, thinks this line drive ball is going to reach him, only for it to dip at the last moment, causing it to bobble off his leg. There's a scramble for possession, and by the time he turns upfield, the Rams are swarming, holding him to the 14-yard line. The returner swaps sides for this one, but the outcome is remarkably similar. Carty hits a filthy knuckleball, causing it to move with chaos, dancing in the air on its way to John Mechie. The ball dips less than he expects, and he finds himself trying to catch the ball behind himself, allowing it to hit the turf. The Rams' defense is effectively given a head start and keeps Mechie to the 21. Flight deception is only part of the trickery though. Most of the time, Carty isn't trying to get a catch at all, and instead is attempting to find clear grass and get it to bounce awkwardly in the landing zone, creating the same scramble for possession. Here's a great example. The unreadable flight combined with the long ball makes the bounce unpredictable, and Mechie is once again scrambling to get control before the defense closes in. This time, the Rams do an even better job to squeeze the space, and LA are bringing him down at the 10. Carty has been given the opportunity to test this early this season, and the Rams have forced 6 possessions to start inside the 20 off the kickoff, equaling last year's top team in just 3 weeks. The Titans have favored the single returner formation, loading 10 into the setup zone, but the extra blocking power doesn't help when the kicking team creates a head start. Chimere Dike gets lucky with the ball skipping straight on, but it's still too low and awkward to handle, having to chase one of his shins to gain possession. The head start means the Rams are closing in quick, and seeing a wall, he tries to work laterally. But these NFL guys are just too damn fast, Rook, as he's hunted down at the 14. This video is sponsored by MyBookie. The NFL is back, and MyBookie is your go-to place to get in on the action. Bet game lines, touchdown scorers, and parlays on Sunday, and you'll be going home with more than just your team's dub. Double up the winning by joining in on the action on Saturday's games too, with all the same lines available for your favorite college teams as well. MyBookie is also running an NFL Super Contest, as well as a survivor pool where you can win big, so sign up now. If you're new to MyBookie, use our code THINKING and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your Bet Back bonus token. Football's back, and MyBookie is here to bring you the action. The answer to these swirling and unpredictable balls would appear to be to leave them well alone and let them bounce out the end zone. However, this presents two problems. Firstly, the ball is live off a kickoff, so you need to gain control of the ball or risk giving it away. Caleb Johnson learned this when he decided to leave the Seahawks kickoff alone, only for it to be recovered in the back of the end zone. Secondly, kicks that bounce in the landing zone and roll through the end zone are considered a touchback, but they're only advanced to the 20, not the 35, giving the Rams a second chance at good field position. This has happened several times on Cardi's knuckleballs. Dameon Pierce lets this one bounce and attempts to read it, only for it to stone skip across the turf and roll wide of him. Unlike Johnson, he knows the rules and makes sure to kneel the ball dead in the end zone. And back to the Eagles game, and more problems reading the flight. Cardi gets a nice fade on this ball, and it appears to be dropping, but then it just keeps going, forcing Mechie to try to catch this overhand, and the ball bobbles loose. It's a mad dash for the Rock, but luckily for the Eagles, it rolls out the back of the end zone. The Rams have really pushed the tactics of it this year, with their biggest success coming this past game against the Eagles. Cardi hit 6 knuckles on the kickoff with an average field position of the 16-yard line. Over the course of the game, Cardi won the Rams 117 extra yards, one short of what Puka Nacua gained the offense. Although it would be the kicking game that ultimately doomed them on Sunday, albeit due to protection problems and an obvious snap count, rather than directly kicking. They aren't the only teams implementing this idea though. The Panthers tried some funky kicks as well this past weekend against Atlanta, with strong results. This one is kicked flat and with very little rotation, skimming across the turf to the returner and causing a spill and a further problem picking it up. By the time Nathan Carter has possession, the Panthers are there to bring him down. And here's a real wobbler with the biggest bounce in the video. The ball is drifting around in the air, making it hard to read, and on the bounce turns 45 degrees and runs away from the returner. Natron Brooks has to chase this back inside the 5, and when he turns to head upfield, the Panthers defense is already inside the 15. He gets every available yard, but it's only to the 10. Other teams have been attempting to create awkward bounces in the landing zone, but these are the only examples I've found of proper knuckleballs. With it working so well for the Rams and Panthers, expect to see every team trying it from this coming week onwards. Overall, the dynamic kickoff is a much needed improvement to the play, and the knuckleball only brings more intrigue. The return is back, and a chance for a game-changing play added back to football in a much safer form. However, the return teams are going to need a counter, because when other NFL teams go through this tape, they're all going to be stealing the knuckleball.